Former President Donald Trump gets an invite to speak at the RNC spring donor meeting. Can we expect any major announcements? Plus, what's next for conservatives in the world of big tech? CloutHub founder Jeff Brain joins us live later to give us some insight. And later, today we celebrate National Day that may puzzle your brain, but it sure does have its benefits. And happy Friday to you. You made it. Weekend is here. Welcome to this edition of News On. I'm Miranda Kahn. Thank you so much for joining us. Following along with President Joe Biden's themed week, today's theme is immigration. And a press briefing wrapped up this morning started around 10 o'clock, where the communications team addressed several issues, but primarily focused on the response to COVID-19. And the Republican National Committee is making plans to invite former President Donald Trump to its annual spring donor meeting that's happening in Florida. The weekend retreat will be held on April 9th through the 11th on Palm Beach and will feature several potential 2024 candidates, according to a report from Politico. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel said yesterday that the RNC will not endorse a candidate in the 2024 GOP presidential primary. The Board of Supervisors of Maricopa County, Arizona, have now voted to audit the election equipment that it used in 2020 in the election, following months of allegations of election irregularities. The supervisors voted unanimously in favor of that audit. Both audits will take place early next month. Okay, and unlikely allies coming together on this whole Robinhood app dispute. Republican Senator Ted Cruz, that you see right there, and Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who you also see, converged in opposition to perceived market manipulation by Robinhood Markets Incorporated. The financial services firm intervened to block purchases of stock from the video game retailer GameStop. Now, this comes after users of subreddit joined forces to basically drive up the chain's stock price, causing very painful financial losses to hedge funds that were short selling that stock. So in response to that incident, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted out that this is unacceptable, to which Senator Cruz, then followed suit by saying this totally agree. But Ocasio-Cortez then replied, "I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign." So much for coming together. That was short-lived. Now to an update to a story that we brought you yesterday. House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy did in fact meet with former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. The two agreed to work together on Republicans trying to take back the House in 2022. According to a statement from Trump-aligned Save America PAC, quote, President Trump has agreed to work with Leader McCarthy on helping the Republican Party to become a majority in the House, end quote. They worked very well together in the last election and picked up at least 15 seats when most predicted it would be the opposite. They will do so again, and the work has already started. Joining us live now to weigh in on the future of the GOP is host of the John Fredericks radio show, John Fredericks himself. Good to see you, sir. Happy Friday to you.
Miranda, thanks for having me as always.
Pleasure. So, John, were you surprised that McCarthy met with former President Trump after he accused Trump of bearing responsibility for the Capitol Hill riots?
Well, where does Kevin McCarthy go from here, Miranda? This is Trump's party. It's America's first party. They can talk about taking the party back from Trump all they want. What the Republican National Committee and the traditional Republicans have is they have a spreadsheet and a donor list and a cell phone. That's it. We got 75 million voters. And just like you saw with the Reddit situation with GameStop, they have the power and they have the money. We have the numbers and we have speed. And the same thing is going to happen again. So Kevin McCarthy here is in a very precarious position, Miranda, because if he doesn't support ousting Liz Cheney in the number 3 spot of leadership, if he doesn't support the primary challenges that are going to come against the 10 quisling, pina colada, margarita sipping Republicans that sold the movement out by voting on Trump's impeachment, if the GOP takes over, Miranda, which they are in January of 2023, guess who's not going to be the Speaker of the House? Kevin McCarthy.
And former President Trump set to speak, as I mentioned, at a donor meeting in Palm Beach. This is supposed to happen this spring. Do you think that he'll make any, major announcements? Everyone's kind of been on pins and needles in regards to his own political future.
I think his own political future right now is to continue to build the America First movement, to get involved in the 2022 election, and to capture these 5 seats where he's able to do it. I think that's going to be his political future. I think depending on Miranda, his health, and how he holds up over the next 48 months, then he'll decide whether or not he's going to try to run for president again. I would put it right now, it's 50-50. And I would say that if the Republicans take the House over in 2022 in the midterms and win the Senate back, which I'm almost guaranteeing, because the first 9 days of the Biden administration has been a total disaster. I mean, he's already wiped away about 20,000 jobs just with the stroke of a pen. It's only going to get worse from here. Republicans are going to take over. If President Trump decides that he wants to run for president again and fights for the nomination, good luck beating him. He's going to be the nominee.
Real quickly, because we're running short on time, what would you like to see him do?
I would like to see him focused right now on building the movement, on keeping America First Republicans engaged, in keeping hope alive, in getting involved in these midterms, and primarying the never-Trumper quislings all throughout the party so that the America First movement conservatives can take the party over. Because right now, as Napoleon said, came back to Paris. He said, I took a stroll down the boulevard.
Right.
I found the crown lying in the gutter, and I picked it up. That's what we need to do.
We're going to have to leave it there. John Fredericks, thank you so much for joining us. Still ahead.
Thank you.
In this edition of News On, we'll be joined by social media expert and founder of the platform CloutHub. Right after the break, we'll talk about the future of conservatives when it comes to social media. And later, we're going to talk to attorney and legal expert Dr. Wendy Patrick, again, about the future of Trump.